Hello and welcome. I'm Lori and I make videos about finding your authentic style, thrifting, and my life in Taiwan. If you would like to see more of that, please like and subscribe. And since we cannot talk about finding your authentic style without mentioning feeling good in our skins and dressing in a way that looks flattering so that we can feel our best selves, for today's topic, I chose the Kibbe body type system. The Kibbe body type system was popularized in the 1980s by fashion stylist David Kibbe, and it consists of 13 body images based on bone structure. Until this system came along, people were using the fruit-shaped body type system, which is all about creating symmetry by emphasizing, hiding, or disguising certain features. The Kibbe body type system is all about embracing who you are. We are not trying to hide or disguise anything. We are fully embracing who we are, and we are learning to dress in a way that flatters our unique features. I created a board exemplifying most of the Kibbe body types. I left out the ones that are very rare, mainly the pure types. And I will be explaining the system the way I understand it. So these are not Kibbe's teachings. The principles are Kibbe's principles, but the board, the examples I'm going to give, they are all my own personal interpretation. Here I included a lot of public figures that I personally suspect to be a certain Kibbe body type. But if you want to see the celebrities that Kibbe himself typed, you can go to his Instagram, or you can buy his book that I will link in my description. So Kibbe ranked the body types from the yang, the most masculine dominant traits, to the yin, the more feminine ones. So the first body type we're going to discuss is the dramatic, which is characterized by having a very long vertical line, which means you look taller than you are, and your bones are sharp, narrow, and long, meaning you look very thin. Basically, long and narrow bones on a tall frame plus sharpness. The height is over 5'69" feet, which is 1.70 centimeters. The people I chose in my board exemplify it perfectly. You can see long, lean legs, long, lean and narrow bone structure, long, lean arms. They all look very tall. Only the person over here, I put her over here because I wanted to show how a dramatic looks next to a very tall man. This man is 5'10", which is 180 centimeters. He is a classic dramatic. Look how a dramatic looks next to him. She looks almost as tall as he is. As you can see, no roundness, no curve, sharp jawline, sharp bone structure, sharp nose. They tend to be very thin even if they work out. That's why I included this man over here who goes to the gym and who works out regularly. But as you can see, he still has a very small body frame. Sharp cheekbones, defined jawline, a lot of sharpness overall. You will see in my next board, which is about soft dramatics, that even if a dramatic body type gains weight, you can still see that the bones are very long and narrow and sharp. Small eyes, narrow, sharp nose. Look how tall this woman looks next to a man who is 6'28", which is 190 centimeters. I chose this image because they are both wearing the same kind of shoes, the same height in shoes. I don't know how tall this lady is, but you can see she is extremely tall, extremely narrow, very small, straight waist. That's a huge trait of the dramatic body type. Now let's move on to the soft dramatic. The soft dramatic body type just means a dramatic body frame plus curves. You can make sense of it by using these two words, vertical plus curve. Here we will see curves on a tall, long, sharp, and narrow body. The height is over 5'69" feet or 170 centimeters. The waist is thicker than the one of a dramatic because of the extra curve. You can see long legs and arms, but fleshy, especially when they gain weight. They tend to gain curves, their waist thickens and their curves become more dominant. Round and sensual eyes, sharp cheekbones, and defined jawline despite being overweight. This is why I included glitter and lasers here, because she's a perfect example of a soft dramatic who gains weight. The face may have extra softness, but not always. It may have fuller cheekbones, rounded, romantic, sensual kind of eyes, fuller lips. There are only two fruit body types you will see as a soft dramatic: the hourglass, which is what I'm showing over here, or the pear-shaped, which tend to collect more curves at the lower half of the body. So if an hourglass soft dramatic gains weight, it will collect around the upper arms, around the hips and thighs, bust and waist. If a pear-shaped gains weight, it will collect some on the upper arms, but a lot on the lower part of the body, hips and thighs, and the waist will thicken. And now the flamboyant natural body type, which you can remember as vertical plus width, meaning the bones are long, but not sharp, and not narrow, but wide, broad, square. Muscular with an obvious width, especially in the shoulders area, which tends to be larger compared to the other features, regardless if the person is going to the gym or not. This is a huge distinctive aspect of the flamboyant natural body type. The waist is wide, the arms and legs long and muscular, and while the hands and feet of a dramatic are long and narrow, of a soft dramatic they may carry some extra softness and flesh. The hands and feet of a natural will always be wide and large. While the dramatic has a very long, sharp and narrow nose, the flamboyant natural's nose is completely different. It's large, it's broad, it's the most predominant part of their face. Generally, the face is usually square shaped, as you can see, with a very blunt jawline. That's very important to remember. While the dramatic's jawline is sharp, a natural's jawline is always blunt or square. The eyes and lips may differ. Some can have very sensual traits. That's why I put the lady over here. And the lady over here, they may either have a very small almond-shaped eyes, or they may have very round and very wide eyes with beautiful upturned eyelashes. The lips can be either thin or wide and very full. The height is always over 569 feet, which is 170 centimeters. When they gain weight, it will reveal on the upper part of their body, because a flamboyant natural is always T-shaped, or in the fruit body type system, they call it a strawberry. So that means that your shoulders are, again, the largest part of your body. Some flamboyant naturals can have some curves. They can even be an hourglass, but the distinctive factor is the shoulders. If the shoulders are very wide, then the person is a flamboyant natural, and if the height is over 170 or 569 feet. So yeah, it's important to remember that even if these people do not work out, even if they don't practice any sports and they don't lift weights, they will still be very wide, especially in the shoulders area, and their body will look very muscular, even if it has some softness and some curves, as you can see the lady over here. Inside of the natural family, we also have soft natural. So compared to the flamboyant natural, where the height was over 170 centimeters, 569 feet, the maximum height of a soft natural is 165 centimeters, which is 549 feet. The best way to remember a soft natural is curve and width. So they are way shorter than a flamboyant natural, even if they are a natural type and they carry a lot of width in their body. And because of their muscular frame, they seem to look taller than they are. Not a lot taller, just moderately taller. Another great way to remember a soft natural's traits is an hourglass figure on very wide, broad bones. Their shoulders and their rib cage are the widest part of their body. The arms, hips, and thighs very fleshy, with medium-sized arms and legs, even if the arms do seem to be longer. Just like a flamboyant natural, a soft natural's nose will be very large and very broad, or not necessarily large, but very wide. The jawline and the cheekbones are usually square-shaped, very blunt. Hands and feet moderate, wide, and fleshy. You can also look at me to see that. Since we are a wide hourglass type, we tend to gain weight around the shoulders area, the waist area, which thickens, and the thigh area. And now moving to the body type that is mixed with more yin than the other body types we talked about, one that is a perfectly balanced mix of yin and yang, the classic family. We are starting with a dramatic classic, which is characterized by vertical and balance. While classics in general are a perfect combination of yin and yang, those who are a dramatic classic, they tend to lean more towards the yang side. Their height is 5'6" feet, which is 166, 167 centimeters. Their body is slim and trim, and it appears to be very tall, even if it's just moderately tall. The bust, waist, and hips are straight and even. The hands and feet are lean and slightly long. Eyes, lips, and cheekbones are moderate in size. A combination of yin and yang. When they gain weight, it's proportional. For example, the lady over here, it's the same lady in the same two photos, because I wanted to show her at a lower body fat compared to a higher body fat. So as you can see, the weight gain is around her face, upper arms, but a little more showing on the lower half of the body for a dramatic classic. So the weight, when they gain weight, the weight is distributed evenly, just that it tends to show more around the lower half of the body. For men, the height requirement is higher, because men tend to be taller than women. The height requirement for a dramatic classic is 5'9", which is 182 centimeters. A dramatic classic's man's body is lean and long, and based on my experience of meeting a lot of dramatic classic men in my life, their facial features tend to be more on the romantic side. They tend to have fuller lips, bigger rounded eyes, even if the nose is a little larger than you would consider on a classic. The soft classic means balance and curve. I included the famous YouTuber Mili Velikova here. She's a great example of that. The first two pictures are the same lady, and that also goes for the two pictures here on the lower side. So the soft classic is a perfect combination of yin and yang, but leaning more towards the yin. That means more softness and curves on a balanced body frame. The height will be slightly lower than that of a dramatic classic. Their body is moderate. When they gain weight, they tend to collect it more around the bust, waist, and hips. Being short-waisted is also very common here. The facial features very balanced and soft, romantic looking. We see a lot of symmetry. We see large eyes that are evenly spaced. We see full lips. We see a full cheekbone. When they gain weight, the face becomes very puffy and rounded. I've seen that in real life also. When they gain weight, their waist tends to thicken, and they kind of get this appearance of a straighter body type, even if they are rounded, because they are soft classic. They have extra softness and fleshiness to them. So even if the body type of a soft classic tends to be a very undefined hourglass, sometimes they can seem pear-shaped, like the lady over here. And now also in the sphere of mixed yin and yang, we have the gamine body type. Only unlike the classics, the gamine family is not very balanced. It's a more random and asymmetric mix of the two, of yin and yang. The YouTuber Ellie Art said it best when she said that a gamine looks like somebody put a very yin body type, such as a romantic, in a blender with a very young body type, such as a dramatic or a flamboyant natural, and just mixed them together. So starting with the Flamboyant Gamine, the Flamboyant Gamine is a mix of yin and yang with the extra yang. You can remember them by thinking about petite and vertical, meaning they are short, but they seem tall because of their bone structure. The height is under 5 feet 5, which is 165 centimeters. We have here angularity mixed with small bones and a youthful essence. Interesting fact, gamines are the #1 body type to always look younger as they age, meaning aging is the kindest to them. Their body type is either straight, rectangle shape, or a strawberry shape with larger, wider shoulders and a larger upper body. The bust can be either flat or enormous, depending on the case. Some of the biggest breasts I've seen in my life were that of a Flamboyant Natural who was tea or strawberry shaped. But not all of them have a big bust. Also, their facial features can vary. It's either small, boyish and sharp, or very romantic and rounded. This is what other Kibbe body type guides don't tell you. Some flamboyant gamines can be very rounded, very sensual looking. Many of the flamboyant gamines I've met in real life were very sensual, with rounded, upturned eyes, full lips, small button nose, even if he was sharp, or even if he was more on the blunt side, they still had this beautiful doll-like face and doll-like features. And again, an extremely generous bust. Their legs are generally lean, even if they do work out that part of their body, like the lady over here. But you can see a flamboyant gamine can come in different shapes and sizes. They can have a big rounded derriere, they can have curves, or they can be straight, rectangle shaped. So their legs can be generally lean, but I've also seen fleshy legs and thighs, such as in the case of Penelope Cruz. And now to the soft gamine, a beautiful mix of yin and yang with extra yin, a very rounded body type on an angular frame. They look like teenagers even when they're older. I'm not joking. I have a family member who is 63 years old and she is constantly being described as looking as a teenager. They are very petite. Their height is under 5 feet 5, which is 165 centimeters. But because of their bone structure, they will look shorter than they are, because their bones usually are very short and angular, and they have a lot of flesh and softness over that frame. Again, the biggest derrieres and the biggest busts I've seen in my life were on a gamine, but in this case, on a soft gamine. The thighs, hips, arms, and legs are very fleshy and short. The waist is always defined. They have some angularity in their shoulders. I have to mention that it's the same lady over here in the first 4 photos and the same lady over here in the last 2 photos. Their hands and feet are small, wide, and fleshy. Their shoulders can be very wide or square. Their facial features are broad with a mix of fleshiness and angularity. The gamine body type might have irregular traits, such as large doll-like eyes, but a very long and broad nose, and very thin lips, and a square jawline. I was actually describing my family member right now, the one who at 63 years old looks like a teenager. She's a soft gamine. Their fruit body type is either an hourglass with angularity or a pear shape with angularity. The men's features are also very soft and very youthful, very childlike. This man over here exercises a lot. As you can see, they have to exercise a lot to build bone structure because they don't naturally have a very large bone structure. And now we reached the pure yin body types. I want to start with the Kibbe romantic because that will make it easier for me to explain the theatrical romantic. So while the soft gamine is described as being petite plus curve, the romantic is described as being petite plus double curve. Double curve just means that they have a small waist and a perfect hourglass shape, with no angularity and nothing yang in their musculature. They are under 5 feet 5, which is 165 centimeters. They are an 100% in body type, soft, fleshy, rounded, perfect hourglass, voluptuous. By the way, the lady over here, the first 4 photos on the upper side of the screen is the same lady. And here, the first 2 photos on the lower side is the same lady. And I have Mr. Lee here. And that's a Romanian singer with his mother. So yeah, like I said, rounded bust and hips with a small waist, fleshy legs and arms, small and fleshy hands and feet. I know that some of the photos are blurry, but I tried to get these public figures in as many angles as possible to exemplify as best as I could the characteristics of the body types. So I apologize for that, but it was the only way to showcase what I wanted to prove. Their face is white, they have rounded facial features, doll-like eyes with curved eyelashes, full high cheekbones, full romantic sensual lips, and a button nose. The nose can be wide, but it's always very small and very delicate. Men are on the shorter side, very wide, very soft, very rounded features. A romantic may appear wide-boned even if they're not, because their bones are short, but they carry a lot of flesh. I forgot to mention something important. Even if a romantic is always double curve, that doesn't mean the only fruit shape they can be is an hourglass. They can also be a pear shape, just that I couldn't find any examples in the public figures, but I have met romantics in my life, women, who were pear-shaped and romantic. The theatrical romantic. The theatrical romantic is just a narrower version of the romantic. Petite plus double curve, under 5 foot 5, which is 165 centimeters. Rounded soft features on a narrow thin frame. Wasp-like waist, big bust, big derriere. I have to mention the lady over here has plastic surgery. She has breast implants, she has lip fillers, and so did the blonde lady in the romantic board. But even without the lip fillers, you could still tell that her lower lip was very full. So the 4 photos over here are of the same lady. The 2 photos over here, they're the same person, and the last 2 photos, also the same person. Their shoulders, I have to say, they are delicate. They are a little sloped. A romantic's shoulders are always very sloped. That's a key difference. Small hands and feet, button-sized nose. So even if the lady over here has breast implants, I found a photo of her when she was young. So you can see even when she was young, when she was a teenager, she still had a double curve. She still had the rounded romantic face, the narrow frame, the curves. Basically, she still had a narrow frame and curves, even when she was young and she didn't have any procedures done. Upturned eyes, heart-shaped lips, full, round, and small cheekbones. Unlike the romantic, the theatrical romantic tends to look as tall as they are because of their thin, narrow frame. They are not necessarily flawless. They may have some flaws according to the societal standards. But think about the opening line from the novel Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Scarlett was not beautiful, but men seldom realized it. That basically sums up the theatrical romantic body type. And it's important to notice that the actress who played Scarlett O'Hara in the movie was Vivian Lee, who is a Kibbe typed theatrical romantic. So again, I tried to get these people from as many different angles as possible. I know that the pictures are not perfect. I know the pictures are blurry. Maybe you cannot see very well, but for example, this lady over here, I had to get this photo of her because it perfectly shows the double curve. From the angle that she's standing over here, as blurry as the photo is, it perfectly shows her double curve. And here she's wearing minimal makeup, and you can see her natural lips, natural features. Everything is rounded. Even her hairstyle is very 50s, very vintage, very theatrical, romantic rockabilly style, and suits her perfectly. Also, you can see the lady over here, a gamine hairstyle versus a theatrical romantic hairstyle. You can tell the difference. Same for the lady over here. Here she's dressed in a more classic, soft classic style versus a theatrical romantic look, which is perfect for her. The difference between a romantic and a soft natural: the soft natural is curves on a wide, blunt, broad shoulder frame, non-delicate, moderate frame, a large bone structure, yang-based, while the romantic family is a short-framed, small-boned, delicate, fully rounded. Even if both body types are curvy and even if they have an hourglass figure, the soft natural is a wide, broad type of hourglass, while the romantic is a small, delicate type of hourglass. The waist and the shoulders being the key difference here. The romantic's shoulders are small, short, and sloped, while soft natural's shoulders are broad and large and wide. The waist the same. The waist of a soft natural is very big. The rib cage, the torso, is very long and very large and very big, while romantic's torso is very small and the waist also being very small, even if rounded. The difference between a soft gamine and a romantic is that a soft gamine is a mixed body type, is a mix of yin and yang, while the romantic is pure yin, 100% feminine features, so-called feminine features, what is considered by society as being feminine. That's what I mean. You will see nothing yang in a romantic body type. As you can see, I referred a lot of fruit shapes while I was explaining and describing the Kibbe body type system according to my own interpretation and understanding of it. And I would like to think about the question of which one is better. Should you go by the Kibbe body type system or by the fruit shape system? Even if they both aim to create symmetry, the fruit body type system more than the Kibbe body type system is all about embracing your traits, as I already mentioned. I have to say I swear by the Kibbe body type system because unlike the fruit one, the Kibbe body type system does take into consideration your bone structure. It has precise recommendations for hair, makeup, accessories, clothing lines. Let me give you an example of what happens when you don't account for bone structure. If you only go by the fruit body type system, then you will only care about if somebody is a rectangle or a T-shape or an hourglass or pear-shaped, and you will recommend the same lines to everybody, regardless of their height and width and bone structure. Think about it, that would be a complete disaster. Think about dressing a flamboyant natural as a flamboyant gamine. So the recommended lines for flamboyant gamine are these. And the recommended lines for a flamboyant natural are completely different, as you can see, because they are two different body types. But if you went by the fruit body type system, you would never figure that out. And the same goes for hourglass. A soft natural hourglass is completely different than a theatrical romantic hourglass, meaning a theatrical romantic is encouraged to emphasize her small waist, very tight clothing around the waist. If a soft natural did that, imagine how I would look if I tried to emphasize a thick, wide waist. I already tried doing that. I already know how I look like. So imagine a soft, dramatic pear shape versus a romantic pear shape. How can you dress them the same if one has a very long, tall vertical line and the other one has a very short, narrow vertical line? When I was following the fruit shape body type system, I incorporated a lot of vintage clothing, such as polka dot dresses, pencil skirts, everything that was tied on my waist, and I looked horrible. I was very constricted. I couldn't move. I felt like I was constantly showing the worst parts of me or putting myself in spots that weren't flattering. Versus now, when I dress according to my lines, according to a soft natural that I am, I feel very balanced. I feel very good in my skin. I feel like I'm finally emphasizing the traits that I want to emphasize. That's why I go by the Kibbe body type system, and that's why I wholeheartedly recommend it, especially for people who don't find themselves in the general clothing recommendations. You should try it. It will make a big difference in your life, in the way you feel in your skin, in the way you are perceived by others. You will finally feel balanced out and finally feel like the best of you is being shown to the world. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please like and subscribe because I have a lot more like this coming up. I don't mind if you stalk me on TikTok and Instagram. I've linked both of them in my description. In the end, I will wish you my best. Have a great day. Warm hugs from Taipei. Bye.